Good morning, class! Today we're going to jump right into our new life skills lesson, learning about how to make a grocery list. Last week we learned about how to keep a budget, and we learned that it's important to stay on a budget so that we don't go over the amount of money we make in a month. The week prior to that, we worked on our nutrition unit and we learned all about all the different food groups, and we also took a trip to the grocery store to see where these food groups were located in the grocery store. During that time, we categorized the grocery store into these 5 different food groups based on not the food pyramid, but based on how the layout of the store was. We came up with fruits, vegetables, dairy, grains, and shelf food. This was to help to get you guys thinking of where the foods are located when you go shopping by yourselves. Now today we're going to learn something really important. We're going to learn how to make a grocery list by ourselves. This is really important for you guys to learn because you might have to go grocery shopping with your parents, with members of your group home, or even by yourself. And next week is our open house. You all will be expected to cook one of your recipes from your recipe box for all of our guests. So this will be a great opportunity for you to go grocery shopping by yourself. So over here, I have the questions we're going to be asking ourselves before we make our grocery list. The first question says, what recipes am I planning to cook this week? You need to know in advance what recipes you're going to be cooking this week so you can organize your grocery list with all of the items you will need. The second question is, what are the ingredients I need for my recipes that I'm going to be cooking this week? If you look on all of your recipes you have in your book, there's an ingredients section, and you need to know what each of those ingredients are, and today we're going to be working on putting those into the 5 categories on our grocery list. And the third and final question is, what category can I put each ingredient in on my grocery list? You all have a copy of this grocery list on your table, and there's multiple copies, so if you run out of space, you can use multiple ones. I'm also going to send some home with you so you can practice this on your own time. Okay, so let's begin. The first recipe I have, which is something I know that each and every one of you have in your personal recipe box, is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If you look in your recipe boxes right now, you'll see that the ingredients to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich are whole wheat bread, peanut butter, and jelly. So I'm going to do a think out loud method right now, and I want you to follow my reasoning as I categorize each and every one of these ingredients into one of the 5 sections of our grocery list. Remember, these 5 sections of our grocery list represent the 5 different parts of the store. This is to make it easier on us when we go shopping to find the things that we need on our grocery list. So follow me as I go through each and every one of these, categorizing them. My first ingredient is whole wheat bread. I know that the last word is bread. This is an easy one because it tells me right away that it should go in the grains and bread category because it is in fact a bread. So I'm going to write whole wheat bread under my grains and bread. When I'm done, I'm going to erase it just so I don't confuse myself. I know that's already taken care of. My next ingredient on my list is peanut butter. Where would this go? I know that peanut butter comes in a jar, so I know it's not a fruit or a vegetable. You can't eat it right away. I know it doesn't have to be kept cold, so it can't be dairy. And I know it's not a bread or a grain because it's moist. So it must be a shelf food. And this makes sense because usually peanut butter comes in a jar and can be stored on a shelf. Our last ingredient for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is jelly. This is another tricky one because I know that jelly is made out of fruit, so I'm tempted to put it under fruit. But I also know that you can't eat it right away. Don't have to keep it cold until you open it. It's not a vegetable and it's not a bread. So again, it must be shelf food. And this makes sense because peanut butter and jelly you'll often find are very close to each other in the grocery store when you go shopping yourselves. So let me see, did I go through my 3 steps that I needed to go through? I knew I was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the week. I knew what my ingredients were, and I categorized my 3 ingredients into one of the 5 sections of my grocery list. That was the first recipe. Now I want you all to look through your recipe book right now and tell me if you have a recipe you'd like to work with up on the board. I want each one of you to have a chance to have one of your recipes up on the board so you get used to practicing. Does somebody have a recipe they'd like to share first? Steve?
Grilled cheese with tomato.
Okay. Alright, great job, Steve. So Steve's recipe he's going to make this week is a grilled cheese sandwich with tomatoes. I like how you made it healthy. Now, I'd like you to help me as I do it up on the board, Steve. Here are our 4 ingredients. We want to categorize these 4 ingredients into the 5 different sections of our store. So where should we put the first one? Whole wheat bread.
Whole wheat bread is already under grains and bread.
Oh, nice job noticing the whole wheat bread's already under the grains and bread section. Do you think we need to write it again?
No.
That's a great observation. Usually when you buy bread, it comes with multiple pieces of bread inside. You usually get between a dozen to 2 dozen slices of bread. Do you think you'd go through a whole loaf of bread in 1 week?
No.
Probably not. So right away we know that we can take off whole wheat bread because we already have it on our grocery list for this week. Great job. Steve, what about the second one? Where should we put cooking spray?
Shelf food.
Why do you think that?
It belongs on the shelf.
Good reasoning, Steve. We know that cooking spray is not a fruit, it's not a vegetable, not a dairy, and it's not a grain or bread. So you can find it in the shelf food section. What about American cheese? Can someone else help Steve with his recipe? Alex, where would you put American cheese?
Dairy.
How did you know that?
Because it's cheese.
Right. It says it right here, cheese. So we know that cheese is a dairy. We learned that last week in our nutrition unit, and we can put it right under our dairy products. And finally, where would we put tomatoes? Alex?
Veggies.
That's a tricky one. Some people think tomatoes are fruits, some people think it's veggies. Because you said vegetables, I'm going to put it under vegetables. And oftentimes, fruits and vegetables are together, so that's not a problem. So let's look. Did we complete our 3 questions? We knew what we were cooking this week was grilled cheese and tomato. We saw the ingredients, and we categorized our ingredients into our grocery list. Great job. Can I have one more volunteer to do a recipe up on the board? You all did a great job today coming up with the 3 recipes that we did up on the board: peanut butter jelly sandwich, grilled cheese and tomato, and pasta and sauce. Now, you guys have a couple more recipes in your recipe box, so I want you to try to do one of those right now by yourself as I walk around and help you. Remember, we want to ask these 3 questions. What recipes do you want to make this week? What are the ingredients you need for your recipes? And how can you categorize each ingredient into one of the 5 different sections of the grocery store? I want you to use your grocery shopping list chart to help you keep it organized. And remember, you can add to the one you're already using because oftentimes you make multiple meals per week. You don't just make one meal. So keep adding to it. I'm going to come around and help you. You guys did a great job today. I can really tell that you're getting the hang of it. I like all the unique recipes you came up with and how you categorize them into the 5 different sections of our grocery list. Remember, this is really important to use when you go grocery shopping by yourself or the next time if you're helping your parents or other members from your group home. Next week we have a big open house and I'll expect all of you to go shopping for your individual recipe by yourself. But for tonight, I want you to practice and do one more recipe that you want to make. You can use one of the recipes in your recipe box if you want, but take this home with you and practice with real things in your house. Start to think to yourself, after you write out the ingredients you need, if you already have those ingredients in your house, should you write them on your grocery shopping list? I want you to start thinking about these kinds of things, and tomorrow we're going to work more with them, doing some unfamiliar recipes and maybe learning about some unfamiliar foods and where to categorize them. I want you to keep in mind though, while you're at home doing this, this is not representative of the food pyramid or the different food groups. This is representative of where we find the food in the grocery store. The different sections that we discussed earlier 2 weeks ago when we worked in our nutrition unit that would help us think about where the food is in the grocery store. You all did a great job today, and I know you'll be great at this tonight, and when we come back tomorrow you guys will probably teach me how to put everything together. Alright, have a great night.